It's been 10 years, but out of nowhere, the developers decided to announce some huge news for 7 Days to Die. In the afternoon of a Saturday, the developers put out this tweet, basically scrapping Alpha 22 in favor of a new name, version 1.0. Now, scrapping probably isn't the right term to use, but internally the developers were always planning on making this version 1.0 apparently.
Up to this point, we referred to 1.0 as Alpha 22, but internally, our plan has always been for Alpha 22 to be version 1.
All this news comes with a video from the Fun Pimps themselves as well that I will link below, which basically covers what they plan to do in the future for the game. Instead of Alpha 23, Alpha 24, and Alpha 25, we will now get actual content expansion names for each of these updates. What this tells us is the developers seem to have a plan for the future after the game comes out with a 1.0 release. Console players and PC players will now have the same updates around the same exact time in the near future. Storms Brewing being the title of this first update coming to both systems. What's worthy of note is crossplay/random gen will be coming to consoles around this time as well.
We haven't forgotten about our remaining Kickstarter goals and the features we promised over the years.
Now this might scare a lot of players into believing the developers are going to drop the game and move on to other projects, but this simply isn't true. The developers coming out with this early roadmap seems to point towards them trying to be more open with the community on what their plans are.
Future alpha updates will turn into major content patches. We will still have experimental builds with stable releases going to consoles and other PC markets once they're ready.
The game's pricing will increase to $45 upon release of version 1.0. However, I don't believe the devs plan on charging for these content updates like you might see with DLCs for other titles. The good news for console players is they finally seem to have a future coming soon this summer. With all this talk about a console release coming soon, we finally have some actual proof to back it up.
The game looks great and runs surprisingly smooth. And that means 7 Days to Die PC 1.0 stable will be the launch version for consoles.
A lot of Alpha 22's early planned features have been pushed back a lot throughout the last few months, like the weather system, bandits, and especially stuff like story mode. But this console update needed to happen at some time so they could catch up to the PC players. Developers seem to have opted to come out of early access around the same time as they catch up to the PC players. An experimental version of 1.0 hopefully will be out for the public in late May. Players can test out some of the new clothing in the game and even some of the new character models. What I'm personally looking forward to the most, however, is performance optimization for the game in cities and the like. The lag is almost unbearable with a lot of zombies spawning in some of these big cities. The game to be stable on console at all, this will have to be improved a lot.
Consoles will launch digitally only, and certain features like crossplay and generating additional random gen worlds may come in post-launch patches.
So yes, this July console launch for version 1.0 won't feature crossplay or random world generation, but hopefully this will be coming in Storms Brewing in Q4 of this year. We won't see bandits until Q2 of next year at the earliest possible time probably, along with a main menu overhaul which is deeply needed. As to Q4 2025, story mode is going to be added at this point, which I highly doubt is happening that quickly, and then even a trader overhaul which has been talked about for a while as well. Now what can you expect with this 1.0 launch on Steam? You'll see completely remade vehicles, new animals, new gore, and even the zombie variant system. I did make an Alpha 22 video a while ago which is a little outdated, but it does cover a lot of these features being mentioned here. Specifically, I would look into the zombie variant system and the new clothing set system being added to the game. You'll probably notice these are the most when you start up version 1.0. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I cover pretty much anything 7 Days to Die, and I'm currently working on a 100 days playthrough for the game.